Alright, this is a battle in the floodplains. My opponent is Derek L. Kongnig, I think. And I have, of course, the Sky King. This is the floodplains. And our quote of the day is, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Alright. When on the battlefield, I brought 1-2 Grey Guard, followed by 3 Yari Cav. By them I have 1 Bow Cav. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 9 out of Warrior Monks. And they have no upgrades. 1, 2 Bow Warrior Monks, no veterans. And 2 9 out of Warrior Monks, no veterans. My opponent over here, he brings 2 Manchuck Warrior Monks, Heavy Gunners, 2 Bow Warrior Monks, a 9 out of Warrior Monk Hero, some Warrior Nuns, and 2 Katana Samurai. His Cav, he has these 2 9 out of Warrior Monk Cav, and some Mounted Gunners. I really do like this map. This map is very interesting, and it has a lot of technical terrain to it. There's some hills that you can take, a lot of valleys you want to avoid. There's these woods you can duck into and use for cover and flanking and ambushes. So there's definitely a lot of things you can do on this map. You'll never have an uninteresting match. My favorite thing to do is to take your army and sort of just deploy them, see here in the woods, and that'll keep a lot of them safe from archer fire or missile fire. And I'm gonna fast forward here a little bit. This is me just throwing my men into position. Here's another guy who uses his bow general as some kind of extreme bow unit, like it's some kind of tank. You don't want to use your general like that. It's just not going to be effective. You want him to be behind your line where he belongs, because, well, let's just show you. In the 2 volleys that these Bow Warrior Monks will shoot, he will have taken 6 casualties. And that's a lot more than a general's unit can afford to take. And let's see how many casualties he dealt out. 5. Yeah, 5. Well, 15 over in this night, so about 20. And while that's pretty good, percentage-wise, I took out a lot more men out of his unit. Alright. Now what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to sneak these Great Guard and this Yari Cav around his flank. That's very popular on this map, with these long stretches of woodland to send Cav. Alright, over here I took these 9 out of Samurai and put them over here. I knew I had some kind of Cav in these woods, I didn't know what. It turned out to be Mounted Gunners, so sort of a waste of my effort. But in response, he sent his 9 out Warrior Monk Hero and his Warrior Nuns in there. And he did run these guys out of the woods. These guys, gee, I really don't like these Mounted Gunners. I don't like the whole idea of them. It's Matchlock, which is a defensive unit that needs proper positioning and is extremely weak to arrows, combined with Cav, which is extremely weak to arrows, offensive, and it doesn't need good positioning. It's all the wrong ideas. It's a unit that doesn't really work out. There are people who can probably use them well, but it's just a support unit that it could be done by so many other units. Bow Cav are so much more effective at the ideology of being able to hit your enemy and run with missiles, especially when you can't even get close enough to the enemy because of their archers having a superior range. Alright. We're gonna fast forward this. Right here, he sends his general out in front again. This time I send my Bocav out to support him. Or support my men. And he's down to 18 men already, which is almost half of his unit. Alright, I did run his mounted gunners off. They can't get close enough to archers to be effective, and the archers do more casualties than the mounted gunners do. Right, so my trap is primarily set here. I have these Yari and Great Guard. What I plan to do is take this cav, and while I'm charging with my infantry, swing them down towards his general. What most players would do is send their general behind their line for protection, but instead he'll only meet my Great Guard, and his 99 Warrior Monk cav will be tied up with my cav over here. And with his general torn up, this flank will collapse just due to amounts of cav, and my infantry should be crushing through the rest of his by that time. Alright, his general's bodyguard is quite an effective archer unit. But using them this offensively is asking to get hurt. I mean, look at this already. He's already lost half his men. That's the chance that his general will get hit next is ever higher. Alright. So I send my bow cav over this crescent sort of hill here. And my plan here was to shoot these 99 Warrior Monk cav, but his general sort of came up to my men. I took control of them and manually avoided the fire arrows, but his general starts doing a lot of damage here. I let loose a volley, and he let loose his volley, and I've already gone down 12 men. That was a little more than I wanted, and those whistling arrows made my cav much less effective. So, figuring that they had had enough, and that what I was using for them was pointless, I pulled them back into these woods here. I was trying to shoot at these 99 Warrior Monk cav. I figured they were just as susceptible to arrows as any other warrior monk. However, they were not. By this time, I'm going to sneak my 99 warrior monks over here, and I want this to sort of collapse. Notice how I've got him surrounded. He wants me to confront him in the front, but he's not going to be able to do that. I'm going to come from all sides. Those matchlock, they can only shoot one direction, and he wants me to come in that direction, and I'm not. I'm going to come in 100 other directions. Oh look, what is it? What is that? Oh my gosh, it's a horse. I wonder where this guy came from. Cool. Alright. But the plan has begun. And he focuses all his archer fire on this one unit. It's a smart idea, but he might want to put his guys in loose formation, because they're going to take a lot more casualties in tight. Alright. So as soon as I get my infantry together and I start moving them towards the enemy, I'm going to take all three of these cav and just select them. Now, the idea here was to crash into his general and possibly kill him. But he responds well, and sends his Naginata Cav. He does get some nice shots off here with those matchlock, but I do hit his general. And to finish the deal, I crash into his mounted gunners back here with these Yari Cav, and I finish off the casket here. His men are now all sealed in, and their fate has been decided by my Cav. He does sort of intercept my infantry here, but most of my infantry is going to go through and attack a lot of his missile units, and he's wasting a lot of money now. Those missile units cost a lot of money, and to use them in melee combat is a waste. I quickly burn through his infantry, and it all sort of collapses in a couple of seconds. The only unit he really does have left are these Naginata Warrior Monk Hero. You can see his wives fleeing here. His warrior nuns. These guys are down to 50. These gals are down to 52. You get some awesome killage here in the camp. This guy's like surrounded by 50 people. Gets a run through. This one over here. Oh dang, I swear he got run through. Somebody kill him. Oh well, he runs the wrong direction. Anyhow, that just goes to show you the importance of terrain and surrounding your opponent, and doing what he does not want to do. My opponent wanted me to come at his matchlocks, to charge at him, and to meet his sturdy infantry and be held up by them, and then shot up with his missiles. But I did the opposite thing, and I came around the flanks from the side where his matchlock weren't effective, if they weren't at all, and that lost him the battle. Alright, good game to my opponent, and I'll see you guys next time.